Across the vast and diverse continent of Africa, a potent and often unspoken phenomenon holds sway: the messianic mindset. This pervasive belief system, deeply rooted in historical experiences and socio-political realities, positions leadership as the ultimate solution to Africa's myriad challenges. It is a yearning for a savior, a Moses to lead the people out of the wilderness of poverty, corruption, and underdevelopment. This yearning, while understandable, presents a significant obstacle to progress. The messianic mindset manifests in the unwavering faith placed in charismatic leaders who emerge, promising prosperity and liberation. These leaders, often riding waves of popular discontent, capitalize on the hopes and dreams of a populace desperate for change. They tap into existing narratives of historical victimhood, blaming external forces and internal enemies for the continent's woes. This narrative resonates deeply with people who have long endured hardship and injustice. However, this reliance on a singular, almost mythical figure to deliver salvation comes at a steep price. It fosters a culture of dependency, absolving individuals and communities of their own responsibility in shaping their destinies. It breeds apathy and stifles initiative as people become passive spectators waiting for the promised Messiah to deliver them from their circumstances. This passive expectation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, hindering the very progress it so desperately seeks. The messianic mindset also creates fertile ground for the rise of authoritarianism and the abuse of power. When leaders are imbued with almost divine authority, they are less accountable to the people they govern. Dissent is silenced, opposition is crushed, and the checks and balances essential for a healthy democracy are eroded. This ultimately leads to a vicious cycle of unfulfilled promises, disillusionment, and the emergence of new messiahs who perpetuate the cycle. The messianic mindset in Africa does not exist in a vacuum. It is fueled by a confluence of factors, most notably the enduring legacy of colonialism and the pervasive presence of corrupt leadership. These two forces, often intertwined, create the conditions for the messianic mindset to flourish. Colonialism, despite its formal end, continues to cast a long shadow over the continent. Neocolonialism, a subtler but no less insidious form of control, maintains its grip through economic exploitation, political manipulation, and cultural imperialism. This neo-colonial order perpetuates systems that benefit former colonial powers and a small, often corrupt local elite at the expense of the majority. This exploitative system creates a fertile breeding ground for the messianic mindset. When people are trapped in cycles of poverty and deprivation, when they see their resources plundered and their voices ignored, they become more susceptible to the allure of a savior figure. Corrupt leaders, often complicit in this neocolonial system, exploit this vulnerability, positioning themselves as the solution to the very problems they help perpetuate. These leaders, rather than addressing the root causes of poverty and inequality, often resort to populist rhetoric and grand gestures that offer the illusion of progress without addressing the underlying structural issues. They amass wealth and power for themselves and their cronies, further entrenching the systems that keep the masses impoverished and disempowered. This vicious cycle of exploitation and unfulfilled promises only serves to reinforce the messianic mindset as people cling to the hope that the next leader will be the one to finally break the chains of neocolonialism and corruption. The messianic mindset, while understandable given Africa's historical and contemporary challenges, is ultimately a double-edged sword. While it offers a glimmer of hope in times of despair, it also carries within it the seeds of its own undoing. The weight of expectation placed upon the shoulders of a single leader is not only unrealistic but also counterproductive, hindering the very progress it seeks to achieve. This mindset detracts from individual and collective responsibility, fostering a culture of dependency and apathy. When people believe that their destiny rests solely in the hands of a messianic leader, they become passive recipients of their fate, rather than active agents of change. This passivity creates a fertile ground for corruption, as those in power face little accountability for their actions. Breaking free from this vicious cycle requires a fundamental shift in mindset, a recognition that true and lasting change cannot be bestowed from above but must be built from the ground up. It demands a rejection of the messianic illusion and an embrace of individual and collective agency. This means fostering a culture of active citizenship where people hold their leaders accountable and demand transparency and good governance. It means empowering individuals and communities to take ownership of their own development, to identify their own needs and work together to find solutions. It means investing in education, healthcare, and infrastructure not as gifts from a benevolent leader, but as fundamental rights that must be secured through collective action and sustained effort. The case of Abiy Ahmed in Ethiopia serves as a potent illustration of the dangers inherent in the messianic mindset. When Abiy Ahmed assumed power in 2018, he was hailed as a transformative figure, a beacon of hope for a nation grappling with ethnic tensions and authoritarian rule. His early reforms, including the release of political prisoners and the signing of a peace deal with Eritrea, fueled the narrative of a messianic leader come to redeem his nation. However, the initial euphoria soon gave way to the harsh realities of governing a complex and deeply divided nation. The ethnic tensions that Abiy had promised to heal resurfaced with a vengeance, culminating in a brutal civil war in the Tigray region. The hopes invested in Abiy as a messianic figure were dashed, revealing the fragility of placing the weight of a nation's destiny on the shoulders of a single individual. Ethiopia's experience, while unique in its specifics, reflects a broader trend across the African continent. From Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah to Uganda's Yoweri Museveni, charismatic leaders have risen to power on waves of messianic expectation, only to see their promises falter against the rocks of reality. Breaking free from this cycle requires a fundamental shift in mindset, both among the governed and the governing. It requires a rejection of the messianic illusion and an embrace of collective responsibility. It demands accountability, transparency, and a commitment to good governance. It necessitates a move away from the politics of personality and towards the politics of policy, where leaders are judged not on their charisma, but on their concrete actions and their ability to deliver tangible results for the people they serve. The path forward for Africa lies not in the hands of messiahs, but in the collective efforts of its people. It lies in embracing the power of individual and collective agency, in fostering a culture of active citizenship, and in demanding accountability from those in power. It lies in recognizing that the future of the continent rests not on the shoulders of a chosen few, but in the hands of the many, working together to build a more just, equitable, and prosperous future for all.